Do you know what time it is? It's been firing time, and I'm proud to introduce my man, Mr. AJ Turnup. Has been calling this all season long. He finally gets his flowers. He finally gets the man he wants. He gets that guy. Can I please take your order in Burger King, McDonald's? I will introduce you to my man, my bro host, Mr. Buff Curry.
Yes. What's up, y'all? What's going on, man? Look, here at Bucs Reports, that made my fucking day. I'm here to tell y'all. I told y'all this is what needed to happen, and this is gonna make us stronger. Like, I played this song and I played this artist for a reason, because he's controversial. So I love it. Look, I told y'all, do not fret, Bucs fans. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. There's a silver lining. The Glazers actually are kind of showing us that they give somewhat of a damn. I love it. Take accountability. Get his ass. He had to go. They had to throw him out. And we wish you well. Well, I don't. I hope you never get another job, because I don't want you ruining another franchise out here because you don't know what the hell you're doing. But unless he can get some accountability and have a little slice of humble pie, he needs to take a few years back and sit out and just again, hope he saved his money well. But this is what needed to happen, Bucs fans. This is what needed to happen. Now we have a future, because now the Glazers can look for someone that can provide accountability and belief in this offense again. For all you folks out there who are against this, first of all, I want you to get on here. Please get on here and tell us, why do you feel that Leftwich should have stayed?
I know I got an argument for every excuse, because I do agree with you. I think it was a long time coming. You just hear the way that we were talked about going through. There was like someone did like a montage, which was more like a hype video, but it was talking about like how we were slow and we didn't really move very well, and we didn't really exploit matchups. We didn't do, and those were all the things that we've been talking about all season long. And I think that, paired with a bit of Tom Brady scaredness, you could argue, was a recipe for disaster. And then once you got your quarterbacks a bit nervous about throwing holding on to the football, then you go to your lightning game, your super quick game that's just almost really hard to defend, but you're only going to get you're never going to get big yardage out of it, and that's fine, because that's the way Tom Brady likes to play anyway. It's always been his shtick. So then there's the offensive line issues I've seen people go on about. And it's like, okay, you can talk about the offensive line. There are teams out there in the playoffs that probably have a worse offensive line than us.
Bengals.
Yep. I mean, I know Tom Brady isn't youthful and going to run outside the pocket. The point being is I think we're 10th. He's 10th in being knocked down. He's 28th in sacks. So that means he's been sacked that little amount of time. So when you look at it from that perspective, the line hasn't been great. But you can't blame an entire offense just on offensive line. We've had shitty offensive line. Did Jameis Winston have a very good offensive line?
Hell no. No. And look who was people, I like Dotson, but Dotson ain't worse. So you want to talk about a major upgrade that
Dotson
Brady
got old as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but Dotson was never worse anyway. Like,
no. He was a serviceable. He was a serviceable guy at that position.
And we had the receiving core this season to make up for it. Plenty of people have done that. You don't believe me? Ask Carson Palmer when he was in Cincinnati. Their line was shit. But it's simple when you have Hushmanzada and Ocho Cinco, and they had Chris Henry at the time. You know what they did? They made adjustments. People, this is what it's about. Coaching is about adjusting and adapting. If you can't do either, you don't belong in there. And I'm going to just say this right here and right now. Football, basketball, boxing, hockey, fucking tennis, golf, video, hell, even YouTube games. You know what they all have in common? It's business. It's about making money. It's about being successful. Being successful in making money, especially in competitive sports, you have to have the right people, the right guy, the right player, the right coach. All that, again, it's about business. And in business, like at your jobs, you have to make that decision to go, is this person good for this company or not? Is he helping this? Is she helping this company? If whatever person cannot get it right, it is time for them to leave. So I'm going to address it right now because you people are pissing me the hell off, especially my folks. Do not go for this Byron Leftwich got fired because he was black. This is a hill not worth dying on. And if you say that shit, that's how I know you did not watch the game. So for you fake ass woke people out there, get the hell out of my face with this shit. A lot of people, I can tell they didn't even watch the entire Buccaneers game. I said this in my video, you dumbasses. Stop looking at highlights. Highlights don't tell you the whole story. That's why it's called highlights. You see, they don't tell you low lights or the whole lights. Highlights just show you the prettiest things that they want you to make you think that something is what it really isn't. That's not how football works. You got to watch the entire fucking game. Buck fans, for years, we have called out Byron on this shit. And now, for you people out there who are trying to go to the statistics, you can do that if you want to. Oh, I got them for you. 2019, yes, we were third. 2020, we were third. 2021, we were second. This year, 25th. You want to know what the common denominator that was? For folks out there who don't learn, I'm going to give you a little education. Arians was calling the shots. Now you can really tell. We know that he said that Leftwich was calling in, but come on. What the hell was you think he was going to say? Dumbasses.
They're also probably it's not Byron's playbook. This is Byron. This right now, what we've just had is Byron's playbook. This is what he installed. This is what he created. Him probably peppered in with a bit of Tom Brady, but this is his first playbook. Yep. Like I said, we were all expecting bigger things because they did shore up one of the positions on the offensive line. And yes, the center went down. Robert Hainsey was only ranked middle of the road, which is mediocre, but he was ranked middle of the road. You've still got Donovan Smith, who had in the past been playing well in the last two years. Yes, the left guard thing is, you can't just have one position on your you can't just have one position on your team, your guard position, and say, that's it. We as well kiss the fucking playoffs goodbye because that guard's not fucking ready. Come on, guys. We have to be realistic.
Did somebody say highlights? Did somebody say highlights? I heard highlights.
Yeah, and we didn't have that many
until next week.
We didn't have that many, but that's my whole point. It's people like Shannon Sharp that he should know better, and I'm calling you out, Shannon. You know damn better. Again, like my man Slick said, if you're doing this shit for the fluffiness, by all means, I need you to blink twice so I can understand. If you say these certain things, okay, blink twice or rub your nose so I can go, all right, he just bullshitting. But for him to go out there today and say, skip, Leftwich he took them to the Super Bowl. Get the fuck, are you serious? You know damn well Arians was in charge of that. First of all, we know the defense helped us get there, but overall, the offense, that was Arians.
And you know what, AJ, I want to piggyback with you real quick, and that didn't come out right. It's not like this is an anomaly. No. I'm pretty sure Leftwich was left as the Cardinals coordinator after Arians left that one year, correct?
Yes.
And for all you stat geeks, go check out what the fucking Arizona offense did that year statistically just with Leftwich. It was a significant drop-off. Now, before AJ burst a vein, and we actually hear what Slick thinks about this. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the excitement, and for some of you, sorrow, I guess, today, in the firing of Byron Leftwich, we have forgotten one very important thing, Bucs fans. Today is an historic day. It's a day of remembrance. It's a day of happiness, but it's also the 20th anniversary of the day that the Buccaneers closed the vet.
First down goal from the 10. Come on, Bucs. 3:27 to go. McNabb dropping foot. It's intercepted at the 10 to the 20. He's gone. Going coast to coast. Rodney Barber to the 50 to the 40. Barber to the 30. Nobody's going to touch him. Rodney Barber 10-5. Touchdown Tampa Bay. A 95-yard interception return. Bucs lead 26-10. Rodney Barber, you need to go to the Pro Bowl. First down goal.
Whoops, I didn't mean to hit that again. Hey, happy anniversary, Philadelphia, you fucking filthy animals.
That's the greatest play in Buccaneers history.
Absolutely.
And by the way, hey, if you got a blue check mark and you're on a 4-letter network, now I'm being obvious, and you're going to take the high horse or the high road or stand on your soapbox and say, it's not fair that Byron got fired after the... Dude, tell me you don't live in the real fucking world without telling me. I don't care if I nailed the fucking fry order at McDonald's 18,000 days in a row. If I serve someone cold fucking or frozen French fries, they're going to fire me. Okay? That's how this works. And I'm so sorry that Byron Leftwich got fired and has to take that golden parachute of all that fucking money and go sit on his ass. So cry me a fucking river. The fact is, this is the gentleman, and I use that term loosely, that was presented with a question AJ has on his videos from Pewter Report's Joshua Allen, JC Allen is what you know him as, that showed him you're doing something that doesn't work. And he laughed and belittled these people. All right. 9 weeks later, who's laughing at who? Byron.
Exactly. This is the arrogance. And it's just disrespectful arrogance, because that man was asking you a real simple question and it was actually trying to help you out. And the first thing you want to do is chuckle. Like, you actually thought that you were on a level when you were a mediocre ass quarterback. Even when you played, you weren't good. Nobody gave a damn about, nobody ever took Byron Leftwich serious. He was a D+ quarterback who maybe had C average moments. And then you come in here and, like you said, your work you've always been coddled by Arians. Arians tried to groom you into something, but we know statistics show you don't have what it takes. You don't adjust. You're too predictable, and you don't utilize your players the best way that you should. Now, for all these colored people, for all my people out there, black people, again, this is not a hill to die on. Don't be stupid. He had 3 years with Arians, and he learned nothing. 3 years. Again, I tell you, 3-3-2-25. Now, mind you, for all you folks out there who, there's so much racism in the league. Okay, we do acknowledge there is racism in the league. Now, going by your logic, let me ask y'all this. For the most part, back in the day, we would bitch because black coaches were left with shitty teams, right? Now, I can give you that. They were put in unfair and unrealistic expectations. That wasn't the case for Bowles and Leftwich. They were left the keys to Tom Brady, the GOAT, Mike Evans on one side, who is an elite receiver, Chris Godwin, who is a very good receiver as well. And then you added in Russell Gage. You had Julio Jones. You added Kate Otten, Rachaad White in the backfield to complement Leonard Fournette. You have every fucking thing. I don't care that the line was a little beat up. You mean to tell me you don't know how to fucking adjust? You don't know how to chip. You don't know how to do a max protection. Let's just go back to this game to the Dallas. We were embarrassed on offense. The first fucking thing you want to do is run. What happened? We got knocked back. You didn't chip Micah Parsons to assist an already head case left tackle who leads the league in penalties. You didn't do the width of the field. Everything was a fucking run as fast as you can route while the defense could just sit back. No crossing routes, nothing special. You didn't get the offense in the rhythm. Now, if I'm a racist white owner, why the fuck would I want to give you a chance? If anything, you made black people look worse. You made us look worse, like saying, see, why would I expect them to do any better? And they've been given a perfect you got a Super Bowl caliber team, and this is the type of shit that you put out there. Come
AJ,
on, we got to do better than that. That's not racism. That is just skills. It ain't the man's color. It's what he can do. And side note, this is how I know a lot of you damn fake ass Buck fans. You do realize we fired other white coaches for inept shit. Dirk Cutter doesn't ring a bell. Greg Schiano doesn't ring a bell. And mind you, Greg Schiano was arguably the worst fucking choice we picked in the past 5 coaches because he was awful and he was stupid. Where's the energy for that? Where is the rah-rah for that?
There's no impressions on Twitter for that kind of stuff. You know that.
Where's that? Oh, and again, if we're gonna shit on OC coordinators, we were shitting on the Patriots guy as we should. So Byron is not the exception. Like people, for all the minorities out there, we cry about racism, but you can't use your own race to benefit yourself just because no, if you are shit, you are shit, no matter what color you are. Yes, and Chris Cole's right. He was picking plant. Yes, when you are in over your head, we've been on the job before, guys. We've seen people who don't know what the hell they're doing. I've seen it. And just again, do not let these people fool you because of their title. There are people who got jobs just because. And Leftwich, unfortunately, is one of those people. I'm here to tell you right now, I can make a better play call than him. Don't worry about when they say the X's and O's. I know the X's and O's. First of all, give me the resources that they have. I know this game. Again, if I were here to tell y'all, if they asked me, well, AJ, how would you have run the offense? A fucking spread, more play action, max protection. When an elite pass rusher is here, Fournette is chipping. He's doing crossing routes. Defensively, you're going to be physical. You're going to be fucking physical. You're jamming, you're slap boxing on the line every other play, especially on second downs. You might get a 3-yard cushion. If you don't have Jamel Dean 4.3 speed, you're going to be jamming all day. So you might as well get yourself ready. We're going to be a tough mental team, and it's accountability and belief because I still believe in this team. Unfortunately, Byron didn't. Byron should have been fired after that fucking Steelers game. You had a bunch of people from YMCA on the field. TJ Watt is out, y'all. And what does he do? He runs into another premier run stopper in Hayward. That's just common sense, folks. That don't have nothing to do with race. So people out there, cut the fake outrage bullshit out. And if you want to talk about it, I'm here to talk because I don't go for that shit. One of our guests said something real. When you put that uniform on, we like you for your pewter and red. We don't give a shit about that other stuff because you're dead wrong when you do that. Because now you're taking away what brings us together. Football brings people together. Yes, you have assholes out there who are racist or prejudiced. Let them assholes be. We don't care about that. We talking about people in football. And the Glazers made the right choice. They got rid of someone who don't know what the hell he's doing. You want to blame Brady? Okay. I love this logic. Compare his stats to last year and this year. Okay. Who was coaching last year? Oh, better yet, 25 touchdowns and 9 interceptions usually isn't a bad thing. 4,694 yards is usually not a bad thing. Oh, I won 3 comeback games this year. I saved y'all from being 8-9 and from fucking 5-12.
I'm watching AJ do math real quick. That was awesome.
So I'm just saying, let's be real about this because people are telling me these numbers that Brady is doing terrible. No, he's doing terrible to your expectations. Realistically, those are some good ass numbers.
Yeah, we would have took that any year with any other quarterback.
Exactly.
And for all the people out there, and we know they're there because we've seen them on Twitter all day, who think, well, who's this guy? You don't play the game. You don't know the game. You're not a part of the big people. Well, just so we're clear, from ESPN's First Take, there's a former NFL quarterback, albeit not a great one, who kind of has echoed the thoughts on this show. So let's go ahead and play that.
Dan, I will start with you. What's your reaction to the firing of Byron Leftwich?
Yeah, totally needed for this organization. You know, Molly, I tweeted out and I said after watching that game Monday night, I don't know how you could watch what happened in Tampa this season and then rewatch that game that happened on Monday night and not think, man, we got to start all the way over in Tampa. So this was necessary. I've said this for, I feel, 3 years. This is one of the least creative offenses in the NFL. I remember even in 2020 when they won the Super Bowl, I said they are so dependent on high-level execution. They do very little to help their players. Now, they adjusted throughout the season and into that playoff run, and they were super talented, and that's why they got it done. But this offense is so behind in so many different ways when it comes to new age football. It's in many ways archaic. It's very little motion. They don't do anything that they're good at. I feel like they major in the things that they're bad at. I will say this, and I have no information on this at all. This is just my assumption. I find it odd that this is just a Byron thing. I can't imagine Tom doesn't have pretty significant input into their offense. I could be dead wrong on that. But the way that their offense is just played, how disconnected the run game is from the pass game, it's almost like coaches don't even talk in their building. So necessary move.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Dan, you've been getting that from me because I've been talking about that for years. I feel like Dan has he got some teams to be watching my stuff saying, yeah, he's been saying this. But yes, he's correct. He's absolutely correct. A lot of people want to put the blame on Brady. Look here, last time I checked, I get Brady is a great quarterback. But damn it, at the same time, if that's the case, then what the hell are we hiring these coaches for? Coaches are a part of the team. Coaches matter. Coaches, if anything, put their players in the best position. Sometimes coaches can save a player from himself and teach him better things. Hey, I know you're good at this, but have you considered this? Remember, we put Rondé Barber at safety, and he did a good-ass job. He did what he could. It's just about knowing what you can do, and Byron didn't. He never adjusted. Yes, did Brady not play well this season? Absolutely. He had a lot of other stuff. We're not taking that away. But he wasn't like so terrible. And remember,
he went 8-10.
Yeah, and we still have 2,000, and we had 2,000-yard receivers, despite Byron keeping this offense being an F. Despite all of that, we were still effective. Now, people want to say the defense, yes, the defense was good as well. They held it down, but when it came to the big moments, they choked. We were just absolutely coached. Both coaches have major faults. Unfortunately, you're trying to use race as an excuse to absolve these guys of their, of their shitty play styles, and that's not cool. I don't like that because again, it's not like these coaches were given bad players. We were given a good team. I don't care that Gronk wasn't here. I don't care that AB wasn't here. That's very bad excuses because we made up for it with bringing in other talent. Is Russell Gage AB? No. But you got Julio and Russell. You mean to tell me you don't know how to get them involved?
Well, AB and Gronk were on that team that kicked the shit out of them this week.
Yeah. And you have an upcoming guy in Cade Otton, and you barely utilized him. This is what coaches are supposed to develop. You mean to tell me out of all this time, you couldn't change it? Because I'm telling people you can change an offense if you really want to. And
he's not playing to the strengths. And we're gonna bring Rick Hughes on screen here, and I'm gonna jump off and go wrangle up some more people. But before I do, they're not playing. They weren't calling the plays,
no,
like you said, that put people in position to win or to their strength. And the example of that was wide open in the Dallas game. Dallas played a cover shell defense the majority of the time. That leaves the middle wide open for cross, slant, drag. Buccaneers had 4 plays that they had that route in the package scheme.
Yeah.
That's a lack of awareness of what you're seeing transpire in front of you. With that said, I'm going to bring on somebody who might have a slightly different view of what we're talking about today. I'm going to bring on from Bucs Live with Rick Hughes and Dave Whitescarver. I'm going to bring on Rick Hughes while I go round up some more people to bring in. So without further ado, you probably heard him. You probably seen him. You might have missed him, but he's here. Rick Hughes.
Hey.
How you
There
doing?
he is.
How you doing, Rick?
How you doing? You guys doing good?
We trying to. I mean, I'm doing better. This firing, it takes a little bit of the sting. I'm still salty about this Dallas game. That hurt.
Well, I let me ask you guys a question. Was Brady consulted on the firing?
I don't. You know what? Even
If they want to retain him, I would say he should have been.
yes.
Because if you don't want to retain him, then it doesn't fucking matter what Brady thinks.
Well,
But if you want to retain him, you need to speak to Brady as well, because you've got to. Do you think we can go in a better direction than with Byron Leftwich? And he turns around and says yes, and he has maybe somebody in mind. I don't know who. Then they consulted Brady on a few. Brady's made his point made a few times, especially if he was considering coming back. And we don't know the answer to that, but he could have turned around and went, "If you want to bring me back, I don't want Byron Leftwich. Find me somebody else." I'm not saying that's what he said.
No, I understand, but the thing that I will say is, if you recall, what was it, 8 weeks into the season, they were going to fire Leftwich.
Yes.
And then decided, or Todd Bowles vetoed it.
Yes.
There's no way in hell that they were going to fire Leftwich during the season unless Brady was behind that.
I agree.
So in my head, now do I think Brady said get rid of Leftwich or I'm not coming back?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think he says stuff like that. I think he says I would prefer Leftwich is not here and the team does.
Yeah, you know what I meant. I was paraphrasing.
No, I wasn't. That had nothing to do with what you said. I was just trying to elaborate.
That's fair.
Look, I've got a sneaking suspicion. Well, let me say this first. We got out of the 3 years with Tom Brady exactly what we had hoped for, wanted, and dreamed we would get out of Brady. Okay, everybody who's so disappointed, understand this. We expected a season like this in year one. We'd get a little bit better than we were with Winston and maybe make the playoffs, but not do much. Year two, we'd make a little noise in the playoffs. Year three, maybe we could win a Super Bowl. We did everything we wanted with Brady perfectly. We just did it backwards.
I agree. I remember when me and you were talking on your show a long time ago when we just came out of the season where we got beaten by we lost to the Rams and said it's kind of weird because it should be like this should be the season where we win the Super Bowl, and the last season could have been the season where we just win a playoff game and kind of make some noise. And like you're absolutely right. This was the first season would have been the season where you make the playoffs, maybe win the division, and you go in and you lose a playoff game or what have you. But there's hope, and then the next year, like you said, and then so forth.
I think we will know if Monken gets hired, like the rumors are out there. If Monken gets hired, I think they don't want Brady back. I think that's a pretty clear signal they don't want Brady back because Brady's not going to come in and learn a whole new offense and do all that here. He'll just retire. If they hire O'Brien, then so I think we're going to know pretty quick. I think we're going to know pretty quick. Now, let me say this. Now, I am a fan of moving on from Brady. That is not disrespectful to Brady. That is not. It is just an honest assessment that you can't have a pocket passer that won't step up in the pocket. Okay, he's at a point now where he just won't step up in the pocket. And, he's afraid of doing that. I get the concerns. I understand all of that. This was not the same Tom Brady. Tom Brady was just wrong and off the whole year. I think the Bucs already have a pretty good idea of what they're going to do with Brady or what's going to happen with Brady. I think they already probably have a pretty good idea. I will say this. If they thought Brady was coming back this next year, they would not have required fans to buy 2 years of season tickets. Okay, they wouldn't have had to. They would not have had to. They would have said, fine, by 1 year, if we're going to get him the next year, that's fine. And then we'll require you to buy 2. So I think the signals are there that Brady is not coming back. The more time goes by, the more I embrace that. The one thing that makes me think otherwise, if you heard his press conference, Brady said something interesting when he was giving his goodbye, his little goodbye speech to the media and everything. And he goes, I love this organization and hopefully, and then he stopped and moved on. Like he was about to say, and hopefully I'll be back next year and blah, blah, blah. But if you go back and listen to it, he literally said, he goes, I mean, I love this organization and hopefully, and then he moves on. Mm-hmm. So he was getting ready to say something, caught himself and moved forward. So listen, rumors are worth nothing. I promise you rumors are worth nothing. But the rumor is if it's Monken, you're going to get one or two guys, or maybe both. You're going to maybe get Baker Mayfield because remember, Baker Mayfield had one good year. Guess who the offensive coordinator was?
Todd Monken.
Yes. Okay, so as much as we hate that thought, may happen. Everybody who's talking about they're going to maybe draft Stetson Bennett, maybe that would be the case, but that would be Baker Mayfield as the starter and Bennett on the bench like Trask has been just to see if he can develop into something. That might be your 1-2. If the team did something like that, brought in Baker Mayfield, what would happen, I think, is I still think that even if Brady goes and plays somewhere else or retires, he still may restructure his contract so that it's more team friendly to the Buccaneers. He may still do that. But I think should the Buccaneers go that route, and everybody who hates the thought of Baker Mayfield, I'm sorry I'm saying it, but this is going to get the team out of cap hell. And, it's a refresh. It's a stay relevant while we rebuild. And guys, for everybody who hates that thought, this is the price we pay for what we've done. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it got us the Super Bowl. Worth it. Totally worth it. I'm good with it. Rock on. I've been through way too many horrible decades to sit there and say being relevant in the middle of the pack, fighting for a division title. I'm good with that for a couple of years while they get it back together cap wise. I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. So look, the dust is settling a little bit. We're not going to know anything on Brady for a while. Okay. Right. We're not going to know anything, but I will tell you when you see who the new offensive coordinator is, it's going to speak volumes. If they hire O'Brien, Brady's coming back. Mm-hmm. If they don't hire O'Brien, Brady ain't coming back.
It's highly unlikely.
Right. Right.
Let's talk about your hypothetical here on Baker.
Yeah.
AJ, what's your take on Baker coming here?
Hell no. Keep that shit away from me. Because
honestly, I don't mind. I really don't mind.
I don't want that. Look, I hear what you're saying, Rick, and that's cool. But
I'm not saying it's a great deal. I'm saying we'll be meaty. We'll be in the middle of the pack. We'll be relevant while we get ourselves out of cap hell.
I get that. I get it. But we have too much. We still despite I know we're missing a lot of pieces, but the most important things that pieces will return is our receiving core. What I don't want to do is the Bucs is repeat history itself. And I'm sure you remember this. What happened after the Bucs won their first Super Bowl?
Yeah, it already didn't happen though.
Right.
It already didn't happen.
But we were still losing people, and then we went through these years of these false hopes where we picked the wrong people, and
wow, it was brutal.
And then like we just threw the talent away. I don't want the Bucs. For me, I don't want to go through another decade of that shit. I don't
It's
want
not a matter of throwing talent away. We don't have tons and tons of cap space, and we did what we needed to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, now we're gonna have to pay the price a little bit. Okay, we're gonna lose some guys we don't want to lose. We're gonna lose some guys we don't want to lose. Okay,
Right.
now we can kick the can down the road, and then it'll be even worse. Okay, so
yeah.
I mean, you got to
look at the Saints are a carbon copy of where the Buccaneers are heading.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
From a cap point of view.
Yes,
they've manipulated the cap so many times that it's got to a point where they're now having to pay the piper.
Right. So, and I'm saying we have an opportunity. There's a window right now to where, look, yeah, you got to pay the price a little bit, but not totally. It's not like the team's going to suck. We can still win the division. Yeah, we're probably not going to be a Super Bowl team. Probably. Remember, Cleveland with Munkin and Baker Mayfield, they were a pretty tough team, and they were growing, and they were getting there. Now, I get it. I get how you feel about Baker. I understand. Ask a Rams fan or the Rams coaches how they feel about Baker Mayfield. They're okay with it, right? I mean,
yeah, they're okay, but they're in another worse predicament as well, so they're going to take what they can get.
But they have a quarterback. They have their quarterback, and they still like Baker Mayfield. They have their quarterback. He was just injured.
Yeah, my only issue with Baker is, can Baker be? Sometimes he's the kind of player that he needs protection from himself, and we just, after the whole Jameis and Deshaun Jackson era, I don't want the locker room messed up like it used to be, because then that's when you implode some more, and then we'll be out of cap hell, but then we're just going to be in lack of talent hell, or just a losing mentality hell.
I don't think we're going to get back there because of Jason Light. I think if Jason Light is drafting for the right scheme, like, you don't do something to him like change coaches every 2 years.
Right.
If you let him draft for a scheme and then let the players develop in that scheme and let it work, then you're fine. It's when you keep changing coaches every 2 years, that's where the problem comes in. Because, I mean, again, like a great example of this is when Jason Light became the general manager. I believe that was at the same time that
Lovie Smith was here.
Lovie Smith came in.
Yes.
So he starts drafting players for Lovie Smith and his scheme. 2 years later, Lovie Smith's gone and Dirk Cutter's there. Well, now he's drafting now we got a roster full of players that don't fit what Dirk Cutter and Mike Smith are doing. So those guys, that never develops. So now he's drafting players for Dirk and Mike Smith's type of system. And then we get rid of them. And then you bring in, I mean, you can't do that every 2 years. You can't change coaches because you're not drafting for the right scheme. I mean, that's important. Listen, the Buccaneers are, I believe you said it, AJ, I believe you said it, archaic or something in the way that they ran their offense.
I think that was Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, that was Dan Orlovsky. He copied me, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You can't. You look. It's not going to be perfect. We all got spoiled. We all want Tom Brady 3 years ago. Tom Brady. We all want that guy back. We're not going to get him. We're not going to get the best quarterback in history again. We're not going to get the answer to all of our prayers and all of our dreams, and everything is perfect and rainbows shooting out our ass again. We got lucky it happened once. Okay. But now let's look at reality. Let's look at the cap. Let's look at where we're at.
Right.
The reality is we're going to end up with a quarterback that's probably not phenomenal. I would be thrilled if we could get Derek Carr.
That would be a nice pickup. Yes, that would be nice.
But I think we're probably going to get Baker Mayfield. or someone similar. Okay. I think that's more what we're looking at. And listen, I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, but the moment that guy puts on our uniform, I love him. Okay. And that's the way we've got to be. I'm a fan of this team. I'm not a fan of, like, I wasn't a Brady fan. I'm a Buccaneers fan, and Brady's our quarterback.
Facts.
And I will be that way with Baker Mayfield. Okay. Doesn't mean I won't be critical if he deserves it and when he deserves it. But I honestly believe, look, you can win with a quarterback that is, I'm going to use the term serviceable. And if you don't believe me, look at the 49ers.
Agreed.
So we need a serviceable quarterback to navigate through some years where we get ourselves back in great shape as far as the cap goes.
Yeah.
And let's put ourselves back in the position again. This is how it's going to work.
Yeah, I think yes, serviceable is good. You just got to make sure you have the right coach that can coach him into being serviceable.
And that's where I think Monken comes in with Baker Mayfield. Yeah. I think that's a good team up. I think you're looking at two guys that work well together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best case scenario in this kind of case because he got his best years with
Todd Monken.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe Todd can. I think Todd will be able to utilize the receiving core a lot better as well. So as long as the chemistry, they can get there together. I'm just scared of Baker mental, how he can sometimes just self-destruct. But with the right call, and this would be a good team for him because the Bucs have a good defense. So I can't get mad at that. The defense will still be solid for the most part. Of course,
he's a little bit mobile, not really mobile. He's not a crazy mobile guy. But if you're 3rd and 3 and nobody's open,
he can
get you to 3 yards,
and he can take a hit too. I'll give him that. He knows how to take a hit. He'll stand in the pocket. Absolutely.
And while the line is while the line is coming along, and while we're growing the line back, while we're going through all of that, Baker's an answer for a few years. And I know that's not what everybody wants to hear. I get it. But let me tell you something. We're probably not looking at a Super Bowl in the next few years.
Right.
But I want to go back to playoffs. I want to be a playoff team. And I think Baker can get us there.
Me too.
You never know what'll happen once you're there.
I agree. I think what we were mad about, just to go back to what you were saying, is how we slowly begin to regress, but it seems like we were regressing for the wrong reasons. And it wasn't the simple fact, oh man, maybe the players are losing a step. We were getting more pissed on, well, wait a minute, what the hell is the coaches doing to fix this? Why aren't, we're not saying, I'll tell you what, like this, if the Bucs lose to Dallas in a field goal, the Buccaneer fan base would be a lot different. Will we be pissed? Yes. But like last year, we were pissed, but we understood because we went out fighting. The Buccaneers, they did all they could. The better team won because let's be real, the Rams were the better team last year. They played better, and they was playing for a chip. And the Bucs unfortunately just fell short. But look how they went out fighting. Arians held nothing back and took risk.
Let me get an honest answer.
Team was trying to get there.
Let me get an honest answer. It's an uncomfortable question. But I'm going to an honest answer. If Baker Mayfield was the quarterback against the Cowboys, would the Bucs have scored more points?
Yes. I can say that. Yes. I definitely can say yes to that. You know why? Because Baker would have been running. He'd have been more mobile.
And he took his sacks a bit more.
And he was taking his sacks more. Now, this is the only time that I do think that.
And it kills me to say it. I mean, I realize what I'm saying. I feel like I'm talking bad about Jesus or something when you're talking about Brady. I mean, that's
nothing to be ashamed of. Hell, if Jameis was in the game, we would have scored more points. We would have had picks too, but we would have scored. Yeah. No, when you're mobile and you're willing to take a hit, that's fine. Here's the unfortunate thing is when you have Brady at this time, the line has to be perfect. The line has to be completely
correct.
And the scheme has to be perfect. That's another thing. If either one are off and you have to make Brady improvise too much, that's not his game anymore. And that's okay. But I agree with you. No, I'm here to tell you, if Baker was in that game, hell, let's be real. They might not have lost. They might not have lost.
It's terrifying to think of.
It's not terrifying.
And Christopher Cole made a comment that we can't afford Baker. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we
Baker
can.
is affordable. Baker is affordable. He's one of the few we can afford that are. He's that middle tier kind of guy. We can afford that.
Yeah, no. He's going to get. He's not got any accolade on his name that allows him to bargain for any real big money. He will be cheap.
Yeah.
How cheap is going to be the question. It depends on how many other people want to clamor for his services.
They hire Todd Monken. If they hire Todd Monken, he's going to want to come.
That's my point. That's my point. You've got almost like the cheese.
Yep.
Yeah.
We won't offer you as much money, but we're going to give you a chance to have your best shot, your best. And he's thinking, yeah, well, my best years with this guy.
Yep.
And just somebody asked, if Baker was in there, would he have turned the ball over more?
Probably.
At this point, I honestly, here's the thing. It's crazy. The way that Baker was like depending on using Landry and the rest of those guys in Cleveland, I think at that point he might have got a repertoire with Evan and Godwin and would have found a way. Because another thing that Baker can do, that he can improvise a little better.
That's where I was going. Yes,
he
absolutely agree.
Oh, well, that's the thing. Everybody knows the key to beating the Bucs this season was bleed the defense out and let the offense be inept.
Yeah.
Baker would have had something a lot different. He would have been able to improvise, throw more passing plays, step in the pocket. Honestly,
would there have been more turnovers?
Yes.
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 But they're
not
more turnovers because we turned the ball over a lot through 3 and outs.
Yep.
Okay. So there would have been fewer punts in the game. Yes. There would have been some interceptions maybe, but there also probably would have been some touchdowns.
The Bucs would have beat them by 10. And here's why I say that. The defense wouldn't have been as tired. You could clearly see in that game the defense was just lost and they were
momentum was
all over the place mentally. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know that we would have beaten them because they were on fire. They played the game of their freaking lives that day. And you know what? They deserved it. They won. They played like
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say it like this, and I know people would disagree. The Cowboys only looked that good because the Bucs played that bad.
Well,
the Bucs were shit. Let's be real. Look at the offense. Like you said, I knew we were doomed. Me and Slick said it. The biggest Bucs enemy was Byron. When we ran the first ball the first time and we got knocked backwards, I said, Lord have mercy. Here we go again. And then when I saw a second down and he did an HB draw, I said, Lord have mercy. Here we go again. And then the defense, Slick knows how I get on this. When I saw them on second down and they were 6-8 yards back in cushion coverage, I said, oh, Lord, here we go again. So Dak really, because I kid you not, I guarantee you the 49ers are going to get out there and stomp the hell out of the damn Cowboys. And they're going to show you that Dak had one of those moments, but it was because I tell everybody, you cannot tell me that coaching just didn't ruin the Bucs. They were bad on both sides. Bowles he got in over his head. It's like they just came out and said, we're going to do what we did last time. Like you said, the Cowboys adjusted. The Bucs didn't. Can you imagine? And just to further prove what you said, a Baker Mayfield, one thing I would have liked, it would have been controversial, but we win. Glazers would have rocked with it. Baker Mayfield would have probably told Todd Bowles to go to hell and been like, I'm calling the shot. I'm going to make the plays. I'm going to do this. Because he has that kind of ego in him. And he would have probably been like, I'm not about to lose this game because of you.
Brady has that kind of ego?
No, Brady is a loyal, I'm going to do it. It sucks. He'll argue every now and then, but I don't see him as a dog to be like, kiss my ass to the point where he's like, the hell with what they say. I'm going to make this play. Baker has nothing to lose. As you say, he ain't got no accolades. In his mind, if I do this, I can get some accolades. If I start winning, because I guarantee you, like you said, if Baker beats, let's say Baker beats the Cowboys 30-20 or 30-24, and there was some controversy, where Baker said the coach did this and I did that and we won. I guarantee you, if he said that to the Glazers and judging how the season went, the Glazers might say, yeah, Byron, take a walk. This guy did this for us. So you're not off, and it's not bad to say that. We know Brady's weakness. You know why? Because the entire damn league knows. Everybody knows you rush him and get him off of his game. So that's not bad. So, like you said, if we decide to move on, that's cool. That would let us know what we need to do, because in my opinion, we still need to get tackles. We need to get linemen. I want to get a left tackle the first round because I want Donovan Smith gone. I want an edge rusher to help.
Let me ask you something about that.
What's
about
up?
Donovan? Okay, he was injured all year, right? He had a hyperextended elbow. That's pretty bad for that position.
Yeah.
Now, I think he's gone. I do think he's gone.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I blame him completely. I mean, you're throwing an injured guy. When Josh Wells was out there, we did better. We really did, because, you're letting Donovan Smith heal. You're letting him, and then we just put him back in. I mean, Josh Wells, we really didn't have problems there when he was playing that position. So that's a coaching call that bothers me more than anything. I mean, by the way, I don't know if you guys are familiar. I mean, I don't know if you know Tom Pelissaro told Susie Schuster on the Rich Eisen show that it appears Brady is not opposed to returning for next season, and that he's more likely to come back next season than he was after last year.
I mean, that's not too surprising. That's not too surprising. He was dealing with a lot of shit within his marriage.
But how do you now what do you do with a new OC?
I think the question here is, like, obviously, if Tom Brady does come back, we got to get an OC. He's got to be, I suppose, you got to say that he's got to be okay with that, or okay with that. The Bucs organization's got to be okay with him coming back. Obviously, they do their own internal review of what they think is good and what good should look like and what the conversation should be. Whether Tom Brady comes into that conversation. I know you've alluded before that Tom Brady sells tickets, so that might be what ends up happening if he does come back. Where can Tom Brady really go? He goes to, and he's still he's still chasing rings. He's still chasing his legacy. That's carbon built into that guy's mentality and his personality. So it's not like he's going to go to a rebuild, because he can't go to a rebuild.
But about
realistically,
odds.
Sorry,
DraftKings came out with their odds on where Brady's going or what he's doing, and the most likely was Tampa. Because
you go to AFC, you've got and the big name being shouted in the AFC is either the Dolphins or the Raiders. Well, if you're with the Dolphins, you've got to face a certain quarterback twice a year without fail. Could you win a division that way? No, you're not going to win a division. You're going to come second in the division, and that's fine if he can accept that. The Jets are getting better; they're not the slouches they used to be. He goes to Miami. It's possible. You go to the AFC West. That is almost loaded. You could argue with good, talented quarterbacks.
Right.
It's not gonna. Your path to the playoff means you've got to take out Mahomes, and these are all kids who can ad-lib outside the pocket and do whatever. They're able to do that. They don't need to rely on an extremely good offensive line. They just need an okay to good offensive line. Tom Brady needs a elite offensive line to function correctly. So the NFC, however, is wide the fuck open. Who in the NFC South is really threatening? If they can get the right offensive coordinator, and you did allude to I can't remember his name, Bill O'Brien. That, like you said, that's a tempting offer to Tom Brady. He knows someone who knows his strengths and knows what to put around him and knows how to create plays that make Tom Brady work. It's probably going to be a collaboration that works better. And yet, if that doesn't work, Tom Brady's done, because there's no excuse. You've paired the right offensive coordinator with the right quarterback. If he can't do it, it doesn't matter about offensive line troubles and all this stuff. Father Time's knocked on the door, and he's just got to lay down and accept it.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
I don't even think it's true. I think Father Time isn't the problem. It's Brady's head is the problem. I think Brady knows he can't
There's a fair
recover.
argument for that.
Yeah, Brady knows he can't recover from injury anymore. So he avoids the hit. Like, every time a guy gets near him, it's the end of his career. I mean, I think that's what Brady's thinking. I think that's what he's had in his head all year.
Now, Now, Rick,
He looked gutsy the year before.
Yeah.
He was so gutsy with the runs and stuff that he was doing. I was like, he was gutsy. He did not give a shit. He was like, I'm playing for life.
That guy? Now, what happened with that guy?
Now, I will say this as well, and I'm not supporting this, but this is also could be a mental thing too. Like you said, we also got to realize his first 2 years that he was here, his line was Donovan Smith, Ali Marpet, who would have been a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. He also had next to him Jensen. He had Kappa. Kappa wasn't great, but Kappa was very serviceable. He had Tristan Wirth.
Yeah.
That's a stud. So the confidence for him, if he got hit once by those guys, he probably felt, okay, they won't make that mistake that bad again. This season, not necessarily. Just think
I give you that, AJ, but he did get his buddy from
Shaq.
Yeah, you got Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq is Kappa, but I'm just saying on the left side, I think he started losing more confidence.
Now we're just talking about one position for the whole line. You've just removed Ali Marpet out of it and put one person. I'm saying what I'm trying to say is you can't just make an excuse and one guard's been replaced. Now the line is shit. It doesn't work that way. There's blocking schemes to take advantage of that. You use him more as a puller. You don't put him as much more physically. Like you said, there's chipping. There's all sorts of other different things you can do. So I think obviously the injury to Jensen made a difference, but I think Hainsey stepped up decently.
I don't think it made that big of a difference, and you could tell in the Cowboys game. I don't think that Jensen being gone, honestly, Hainsey had a good year. He really had a decent year, and I have no problem with Hainsey.
No, I don't have a problem with I'm not blaming. I'm saying from Brady's perspective, maybe. I don't care about that because, like you guys said, he didn't. There was certain times that Brady, it was like, okay, if you're scared to play, man, we need to bench you.
Yeah.
You need to get sit down or something because I'm with you. I'm like, Rick, I understand what you're saying. Brady, if you're going to come back, you got to have your shit together mentally as well. And also, we literally, in this, if you want to talk about, like you guys said, going for it all, this year's draft would have to be literally the money shot for us. We would have to get the perfect tackle, left tackle. We would have to get a perfect edge rusher to help Vita Vea.
Because there is free agency.
But you already said we're in cap hell. I don't know. I guess we go all out for it. Yeah. But man,
the only way I want Brady back,
yes, sir,
is if we get all of Tom Brady, not the guy we had this year.
Right.
I don't want this Brady back.
Mm-hmm.
If we're gonna have Tom Brady, I want it to be. I want the hungry, hell bent on a championship Brady.
I think we will, because if we do, just think Brady has an ego too. You can already see the people talking a lot of trash about him. And again, what messed him up in the beginning of this season was Giselle. The simple fact that she didn't. I'm not blaming it all on her.
I freaking hate this conversation.
I'm not saying, but you got to acknowledge that
people get divorced all the time. Other quarterbacks get divorced. Have you ever heard any other quarterback? Have you ever heard that be an excuse for why a quarterback had a bad year?
But every other quarterback ain't Brady. I get it, but every other quarterback ain't Brady either. You see what I'm saying? Again, Brady was receiving shots that was unnecessary. And again, you also didn't have a guy like AB talking about he's smashing your wife. Or allegedly. You don't have that kind of that's a lot of unnecessary, things. I'm not saying that it's an excuse to the fullest extent, but you can't say we are all still human at the end of the day. I understand
that, but you've never heard that as an excuse ever for any other quarterback ever, that they got the wife cheated on him. There's all kinds of things that have happened in the past to quarterbacks. Nobody's ever used that as an excuse before. Now he gets divorced in training camp. So
not Giselle, though, everybody. It's not Giselle. It's not a fucking supermodel of the world. It's a little bit
I'm
different.
not saying this.
Listen, man.
I
It
hope
doesn't
The
matter.
power couple of all time. There is no other power couple of all. You can go and do the research on any NFL player that's ever existed, any sports person that ever
I
existed.
understand.
Head up. I get where
So
you're going
Brady
with it.
only had 180 million. No, I mean, I'm sorry.
No, but like you said, at the end of the day, I just want him back hungry, and that's the only reason I
Yes.
say he'll be more focused. Because just think, he doesn't want to walk away with this like on his legacy. Like, damn, I got my ass whooped
I sure hope
by
not.
the Cowboys.
I
And
sure hope not.
out of all the people, I gotta answer this shit. So if he comes back, like you said, no bullshit, no nothing. You need to be all in it for your guys.
Yes.
Everybody needs to be in it for each other. This year's draft, we would have to have the draft like we had in 2020. Because I knew when we got Tristan Wirfs, I told people, I said, oh, we going somewhere. People were like, why? Because Tristan Wirfs was that guy. I didn't even think we would get him. He was such a special.
That draft was so stacked with linemen. It was ridiculous.
Yes. And remember, we picked up Antoine Winfield in that draft. We just we hit the lottery with that. Like you said, Rick, if Brady were to come back, have your shit together. I don't want to hear any other outside influences. I don't want to hear you doing other things. Football, accountability, but this also counts to the coaching staff. I don't give a shit who Brady is. That's why I would love to be a fly on the wall. What happened between him and him this season? Because Arians was the kind of guy I liked when Arians would say, "Hey, I'm gonna chew you out, but I believe in you." So Brady's gonna have to take accountability as well, like you said. But it also goes to the coaching staff. If you know this scheme isn't working, please adjust. Don't wait until we're behind the ball. Don't wait until we're 3-6. If you see that we 2-2, be like, all right, guys, what can we do to get this shit together? Let's go to the drawing board. I had ideas that I told Slick a long time ago, Rick, and maybe I think this could work. All teams, like the players and coaches, should be in the one buck place on one side. 3 people for representing each people write down their feelings, how they feel, and they give it to each person on the side and they read it out aloud and they figure out what's going on. So there'd be no bullshit behind the scenes. Everybody knows what they're feeling and what they think. And we come to the table and then we find a way to compromise. Now I know that can be a little silly, but I think that's how things should work, because you can tell within this organization this season that the communication was not there. I don't care what nobody says. There was no true communication, or nobody was taking it serious. Like, how do you feel, in your opinion? Do you think everybody was on the same page, but then the coaches and the players?
No, because there was too many player-led meetings. You don't have loads of player-led meetings if the communication is spot on. Everyone should communicate and get on with life. We did it in 2000.
Your record sucks. You know, that's when you have the player. If the record was good, you wouldn't have had those player-only meetings. Look, I got to run, but I just want to say this. I want to say, I get it that as a fan, we're always willing to sell out, win now. As an organization, maybe that's not what they're looking at. And will I take Brady back? Sure, but I don't want this year's Brady back. Okay. Will I take Derek Carr? Gladly. Will I take Baker Mayfield? I will gladly take Baker Mayfield over this year's Tom Brady. Okay. This year's Tom Brady was, if you ranked the quarterbacks, in the 20s. Okay. He was not a good quarterback this year. No great decision making, no great accuracy. There was nothing. Okay.
The only time we had Tom Brady play was in the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and then true Tom Brady just emerged all of a sudden. He was like, "Shit, I got to play."
Yeah, thank you, Slick. He doesn't talk much, but boy, when he does. No, I agree with you completely, Slick. That's absolutely the truth. And if we don't get that Tom Brady, if we don't get a Brady who's willing to say, you know what, I might get hurt and only play half the year, but I'll be damned if it's not going to be a great half year. That's the Brady I want.
Right.
He's going to say balls to the wall. Let's go.
fuck around, play 8 games, we 8-0, and then he's out for like 4 weeks. I'll take 8-4.
Thank you. Or and if he says I'm going to go out there and if I get hit, if it's the end of my career, I'm going out
swinging.
as good as I possibly can. Right. So that's the Brady I want to see. And if we're not going to get that Brady, I don't want him back. And but man, would it be cool to see him in the creamsicles?
It would be fucking cool. That would be so cool.
I just want that shit back anyway. I don't care who's in the creamsicles.
Well, it's coming back next year. They've already told us.
Good. Bring that back. I need a jerk.
We're gonna get them next year. So we'll see what happens.
I'm so
guys.
Excited.
Thank y'all. I appreciate
you, Rick. Thank you.
Rick, tell us where we can find you. You got your show. Let's talk it.
Go to the easiest way to do it is go to www.bucs.live, and we got all our links there. Or on Facebook and Twitter, it's @GoBucsLive. But just go to www.bucs.live and you'll see us.
Check it out, folks. It's awesome. This guy is a realist. I like you, Rick. You got that realism talk. Like, man, look, we had a good run. It was fun while it lasted. Now let's reset.
Well, let's do what I understand. If we reset now, we could reset now and then not have a decade of suckage. We could we could still remain relevant while we reset. So, whichever way we go with it, go Bucs.
Exactly.
Go Bucs, baby. Go Bucs.
Have a great night, guys.
You too. Take care, Rick.
Yep.
See you, Rick.
See.
Yeah.
So
we've been
while you're all chatting amongst yourselves, I got a little something to put in, and I'm going to name off a couple of teams, and you're going to tell me if they got a better line or a worse line than the Buccaneers. Okay. The New York Football Giants.
They have statistically, they have a worse line.
Okay. They are ranked 31st. They are still in the playoffs. So don't give me this fucking. Now we know all these players have youthful, young quarterbacks who can escape the pocket. That's fine. But look, there's no pure pocket pass left really in the league anymore other than Tom Brady. The Los Angeles Rams.
They're worse.
They are. The New Orleans Saints.
Worse.
They are. Let's go with another team. I'm trying to put the Buffalo Bills.
Worse.
They are worse. And they are in the playoffs and they are primed to make a Super Bowl run. This is what I'm saying. You can't just blame it on the line. You can blame it on the line paired with a quarterback that's scared to get hit. Absolutely. Because that's a combination. That's not just one thing. You got a quarterback that's not scared of getting hit, and you got routes that don't develop after fucking 8 yards. You've got a chance. You've got a fighting chance. The Los Angeles Chargers.
Worse.
The Jacksonville Jaguars still in the playoffs.
Worse. Yeah, the Bucs offensive line was literally like in the middle of the pack.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Worse.
You are correct.
I know that. Their line went down in the fucking playoffs.
The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys.
Worse statistically.
They are, and this is only by Pro Football Focus. So if you don't follow your Pro Football Focus, then fair enough. But Pro Football Focus has them worse than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Minnesota Vikings.
Worse.
Yes. And now we'll go with the Carolina Panthers.
They had a better line. Their line was better.
Barely, but they had a better line.
They had
the Chicago Bears.
Oof. I want to say that they were worse, but they statistically might be surprisingly better. They just didn't have no receivers.
Mm-hmm. The Atlanta Falcons.
Better.
Yep. The Green Bay Packers.
They have a better line.
They have the second best line according to Pro Football Focus. And what did they do with it? Their record is exactly the same as ours. They just didn't make the playoffs. Yeah. So this whole offensive line thing cannot just be an excuse.
Oh, no, not at all.
No, and that's what you've been trying to say. There's coordinators in there that have learned to work with that weakness. Now,
I hear you.
Those quarterbacks are more mobile than Tom Brady.
I'm not trying to say
more mobile than Tom Brady in the fucking pocket.
Yeah, no, for me personally, no. I don't use the line.
No. But to the viewers out there, I just want to say how many other lines there when you just went through and they're better than us. Well, they finished worse than us.
Yes,
So your offensive line isn't a good enough having a bad offensive line isn't an excuse to just say, oh well, this offensive coordinator, you're running him under the fucking bus because you're throwing him under the bus because the defensive line was poor. It's like, okay, well, I've just debunked that. Now, could you put poor play calling mixed with an extremely talented skill core, which is what we got. We got good skill players. An average line, which is what it's down as. It's down as 12, which is probably higher than average. But let's call it mediocre. Let's put it bang. I'll put it at 16. I think that's fair. And you have a quarterback that's scared to get hit with routes that only really start to develop. Most of the routes only really start to develop after 8 yards. What's going to happen?
Disaster.
You got a quarterback that's scared to get hit on a mediocre to average line with routes that don't develop after 10 yards. It's a recipe for fucking disaster. So why don't you shorten some of those routes? 5 yard in, 5 yard out, a zero slant straight off the line. 3 yard slant, 5 yard slant, chips. Yep, there were chips. Move those big ass tight ends. You got Kokeeft, who's a fucking animal at blocking. You move him around. You fake motion in one way, and then he comes back out that way. Then you can sell the counter because he's going one way. On that motion, they're gonna go left. No. Now I'm running it right because I'm countering that shit because I'm gonna use my counter guy is gonna be Rashad White because he's got that speed. There's so much creativity you can have, and like, is it Dan Orlovsky? I'm not sure what the pronunciation of the last name.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky.
He said archaic, Stone Age, past its sell-by date. And he is right. Even with Bruce Arians, before Tom Brady added a bit of motion and play action, we were literally just stood, line up, and run the play. And that in itself is archaic. It worked because we had such good skill and we had a good quarterback and we had a line that could complement. It doesn't work right for this team right now. And either he doesn't know how to coach his way out of that scheme, and that's all he knows, which is fair enough. Like, if you've only known one thing all your life, you might not change it. Hopefully, from Byron Leftwich's point of view, he needs to go back to basics, maybe coach a poor college team, and figure out what works for him. Have his identity as a coach, because that's I've learned things. I'm with a new DC for the first time in my career, and his stuff is completely different. And there's stuff that I like what I learned as a DC, and there's stuff that I'm like, oh, I take a bit of that, take a couple of nuggets of that. I like what he's doing, and there's stuff that I've come up with where I like, now that's my bread and butter. That's how I like to play. And then within like 5 years, I'll have my own system based off other people that I've been around.
Yep, and that's what it is. Identity, find oneself, because in the beginning I used to be just the run it up the gut all the time and try to just do a little quick
see what you can get.
Yeah, and then I realized that's not gonna work for me. So then I started learning, well, wait a minute, let's run this certain spread, let's mix it up a bit. Okay, there's no reason to, like you said, Stone Age. You can't just have everybody just do a go route. It doesn't work like that in football anymore. It's too much that can go wrong. Actually, mix it up. I'm like, okay, mix it up. Let's play chess and not checkers. So even if I do have a play that is designed, if I see that this corner is slacking to a certain extent, I'll tell the quarterback, hey, the hell with that. Throw it right then and there. Mess him up even more. Because then if we can go back to the same type of play, then we can add another little hitch in it and mess with them more. Again,
you're taking advantage of the matchup.
Yep, all sports game is about outthinking your opponents. You have to outthink them and make them overthink. You outthink and make them overthink. But yes,
the easiest thing for a defense is a team that just lines up and plays, because you don't have to do anything. It doesn't stress. Motion stresses your defense because they're worried they're not going to get to where they need to be in time, because the offense has the jump from the start. They know they're going to move. You don't. You have to react to it the moment you see it. Now, there's loads of different ways to deal with motion. There's the whole roll of the safeties. Then there's the whole bump where you bump a linebacker and all the linebackers bump across. There's all that. And then there's your core beliefs as a team. So I've been in a team that did the roll of the safeties. So your outside linebackers, we play 4-2-5. We'll go to free safety. We always win on one high mostly. And then your free safety comes down to deal with the guy that motioning from slot to the other side to say motioning to trips for the sake of argument, right? That's how it. But I've also done it where my outside linebacker hits my inside backer. My inside backer bumps into my other inside backer, and my other inside backer bumps into his outside backer. So it's just shuffle, 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 shuffle. And there's so many ways to do it. In my new scheme, we do the bump on slow motion, so it's not screaming, and we do roll on speed motion. And now, that's just that's a new concept for me.
Yep. And all that stuff you just said, you articulated far better than Byron. And that is the whole point that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. When you don't have a guy who knows how to really articulate his words to the media, and he has to chuckle and laugh and then be condescending, saying this is a fantasy. What the fuck are you talking about? People learn their own way. This is how you learn and develop. If you don't know what you're doing, just say so. And that is the issue that I had. What's up, James? Hold on. You want to get in
this? Big game, James.
Come on, James. Please get in this, because this is, look, we want a football guy in the inside. But yes, but again, my whole point is, guys, this wasn't about a race thing. This was just about skills. As you can see, everything we have just talked about, we didn't have to put anybody's color into it. We were just talking about who is good at what and why. Because, now I'll say this, like sometimes in the Black culture in America, we try to replicate things so much. Sometimes it's just not like that. There are good coaches, and great coaches are far ahead of regular and bad coaches. Because Tomlin is the exception of the rule. He's a very good coach, not because he's Black, but he's a very good coach who just happens to be Black. And a lot of Black people we have expectations of, okay, well, there's more of them out there. And there probably is. That just doesn't mean that they're not here at the moment. Yes.
I mean, I think
he's not Tomlin. Yeah, he's his.
I mean, he's still technically learning. I guess you could argue that. But at the same time, I agree with you. There are going to be good coaches. I think it's because you do see certain coaches, like an Adam Gase is a prime example of that privilege, I suppose you could say, is the fact that he was able to just kind of fall over and just trip up into head coach and roll into trip. And he hadn't done anything except for he was Peyton Manning's offensive coordinator in a season where they went to the Super Bowl. And that is inherently all he ever did. He goes to the Dolphins and sucks it up there. Then he goes to the Jets and sucks it up there. It just didn't really make much sense. And that obviously doesn't always happen. There's plenty of white coaches that get cut as well. I think it's just a case. I think people feel like they're sometimes not set up for success. But Byron Leftwich was set up for success. There's no denying that. And I could accept if it was a down year and the Buccaneers won 9 to 10 games and they scrape a win and we get out. You could call that or we scrape a loss in this game that we just had. Then you could go, okay. And then you got to look at the nuts and bolts of it, which is, how did the season look? Were we just outplayed, or were we beating ourselves? Did we do stupid things? And we did. We did some fucking goofy stuff this season. Trick play wise, we just didn't really feel like we utilized anything. We felt, for me, I remember saying to you early in the season, it felt like we had certain set run formations that we'd only run the football with. And then we'd have certain set pass formations that we'd only pass with. And then once you know what your pass, that therefore the main pass formations are, and they go, right, every time they're in tight, nasty bunch, a nasty bunch, single wide receiver, it's a run to the bunch. Boom, you're going to defend it. Now, the only thing that potentially helps you out there is the matchups. You've got an extra 3 blockers tight to the line. So you're going to win some, and you're going to break off a big run, or you're going to break off a decent run. But for the most part, which is what we've seen most of the season, is that linebackers keyed very well, and they didn't have to do too much because it was kind of set up for them. And then somebody said to me, "Oh, well, you have to have that." And I'm like, no, people run out of the spread. People run out of the spread all the time. It's creating the I'm telling you as a defensive coordinator and as an offensive coordinator will tell you this. If the defense looks exactly the same every single time, but they're doing something different, that's a problem because your quarterback can't recognize what they're doing. There's two ways to create that illusion. That is to constantly change it, which means the quarterback's guessing, or everything looks the same, but then it's not the same. And it's the same with if you just ran spread, you can do so much with it because you can put motions into it. You can motion to tight end. You can motion to tight end and play as a tight end. So now you're playing pro. You can motion that slot guy and he comes in and plays. If he's a tough old dude, he can come and be a lead blocker in the run game. There's so much creativity you do. It doesn't have to be. People think of football as just line up and play. There's so much creativity and motion that you can use in the spread. Yes, in that exact second, it's not a spread offense anymore, but it appeared to begin with. And people run out the spread all the time. It works for really well for running quarterbacks, spreading the field. That's the whole point of it. It's only 2 by 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's called spread because you're spreading the field. You're taking advantage of all the space that's available to you.
Yep. Spread only doesn't work if you have a shitty line. And the Bucs do have a good line, as you said. It ain't the best. It doesn't have to be the best. If you design the routes the right way, you can make a killing.
You have a quick game with that.
Yep.
You just run a dagger. Still got your deep guy, and you've got your guy underneath. It's fucking rudimentary football. And if
we lost him for one moment, but he'll be back. But yes, for me, running the spread is perfect because now you can stretch out the defense as well. And if you have the receiving core that the Buccaneers had, you can take advantages of weaker defenses. I think the problem with people is they think that, okay, well, I know what I can do to neutralize this defense. And that's not, you have to have the personnel to do so. You good?
Yeah, I think the internet just died out for a second. I feel like I've got 2 of them. I'm cleansed.
Yes, it's 2 slicks. Good slick and bad slick. Bad slick is, hey, all right. What's up? But yes, when you were offline, I was just telling them everything that we were talking about with the spread. You can do so much. As you said, you use the entire field. And then I think the problem is a lot of people always try to talk about how you can stop it. You can stop any type of scheme, but the most
I've said, me and you said this 1,000 times. Every time I do a meeting, when I did a meeting when I was DC, and I said this, and it's the same for offense, and you'll vouch for me because I know you run offense. This is why one day me and you need to meet up and run a team. But I always say, first thing to everyone, every scheme, whether it be cover 3, cover 2, 4-2-5, 3-3 stack, 3-4-5, will win you a championship. It will win you a championship. Up and down the country, in America, and in this country, in the UK, they are winning championships. They are also, with losing records, the same offense. Because guess what we do when we see a good offense? We try to replicate it. That's where coaching comes in. Good coaches can replicate that system and replicate those plays and teach them to their players very well.
Exactly.
You can stop anything. The beauty of football is there is no answer to every single thing, and that's why people say, "Oh, they run a lot of it. They run this all the time. You should run cover 3." And it's like, well, if that doesn't play to your strengths, why run a coverage that your team's not very good at?
Exactly. Agree. I agree. It's
It's AJ's turn to be cloned.
No. Yeah,
you just stop for a second.
Yeah, it was a little bit of delay, but no, you're right. Everybody can be stopped. It doesn't matter. It's just you have to have the right personnel. So if you don't have the right personnel, what I'm gonna do doesn't mean anything. I don't give a shit.
And like you said, adjusting. So your spread offense isn't working. Your offense isn't working. No one just runs spread. No one, like a college might do that. A high school football team might do that because it's too complex to have so many different formation groupings. But what you could do is in your spread offense is, instead of sometimes the slot coming in, you have him at tight end, and then technically it's pro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference between the two. Or you have trips. You have tight end trips. There's little things that you can do. No one. When AJ's talking, he wants them to run spread. He doesn't mean run exclusively spread. He wants them to have a spread package that is probably maybe 50% of the offense, and then you have like your trips to the boundary, trips to the field side, and then your empties, your two running back formations, that kind of thing. You're not saying just run spread,
Right? I
that's
think
not sustainable.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think we're coming to that time now that we were about an hour and a half almost.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's all right. I'm gonna call it a night myself, but this was a great conversation to talk about. But yes, again, guys, this is about football, not race. I enjoy everybody from every color, so I don't care who you are. Let's just again, I know like this is corny, but everybody in the world ain't gonna be perfect. But this time it's not about racism, it's about skills. And for the Buccaneers today, this was a good thing because this guy was hurting our squad. I mean, we will do better. And when we do, we're not here to look for an apology. And then we still gonna say, I told you so. But hey, we want what's best for the Buccaneers. Just like how Rick was saying, if Brady's not 100% on board mentally, don't come back. We do want to save something later on down the line. We don't want to go back to the dark ages because we shot for the moon and we failed. So on that note, you guys, please.
AJ, just before we quickly go on, I just want to talk about the other firings and retirements and just give me your opinion. This is going to be quick because the big story is Byron Leftwich. That's the monster. So we got Clyde Christian will not be quarterbacks coach. He is retired. Outside linebackers coach Bob Sanders retired. And senior assistant Rick Christol, who was a tight ends coach at one point, is also retired. On the firing crew, we've got your man McDonald's himself. The Golden Arches do await you, Byron. How may I take up your order? He will say.
I don't want him at McDonald's. I want him at McDowell's.
No,
I want him at McDowell's.
McDowell's.
He's gonna work at McDowell's. I hope his manager is Mr. McDowell's son or something. I want him to bust his ass. So yes, I want him to be at McDowell's, not McDonald's, McDowell's.
Absolutely. And then we got the running backs coach Todd McNair, wide receivers coach Kevin Garver, specialist Chris Bonyell, assistant defensive line coach Laurie Locust. So that's one of the lady coaches that we have. Offensive QC, so quality control. You'd see why that guy's going. There's no quality control happening, really, is there? Jeff Kesh, and then like you said, Leftwich in scoring 28.6 first year. That's with Jameis Winston with a shit line, and no one can tell me the line that we got now is worse than the line that we had. Okay, they had Ryan Jensen, that's true. They had Ali Marpet, that's true. And I don't care what anyone says. I'm trying to remember the other guy on the line. His name's escaped me all of a sudden. Alex Kappa. Alex Kappa was serviceable. He was good. He wasn't great, and it took him a while to get to that level. Yes, people remember he did not start straight away. That was like his. The following season was when he cemented himself as a starter. That season he was in and out of the lineup.
Yep.
Then you got Dotson. You got the human turnstile himself. It wasn't a great offensive line with a mobile quarterback, mind. So we can't use that issue. We've seen what mobile quarterbacks can do for the Bills, for a lot of other teams. They had poorer lines and still got the job done. The skill-based players was the same, and this team still put up 28 points.
Amen.
The run game was poor. It's always been poor. It hasn't been good for a long time.
Yeah.
That needs to be fixed. And I think that's what he wanted to do. The problem is he kept him thinking, if I keep running it, eventually I'll crack it. No. You need to come up with a better scheme that works for your players to allow you to take advantage of that. 2020, we scored 30.8 points on average. Yep. And then last year was 30 points, 0.1. This year, 18.4. 18. But how many games are you going to win if you can only score 18 points?
I just
Not
know
many.
I just know we only scored 30 twice.
That's yeah. Yeah. You need to score. You need to score 30 twice, basically. Yeah. And that's it. And then comp picks. I don't know if you know about this, but the Buccaneers will be getting a compensatory 5th round pick for Jordan Whitehead and a 7th compensatory draft pick for OJ Howard.
Well,
and randomly here, just to let you guys know, we heard about I don't know if you knew that the teams have been announced who will be hosting in the UK and in Germany.
is it the Bucs?
No. The Bucs not on it. However, the Bucs could be the away team because the Buffalo Bills will play Tottenham. Will be in Tottenham in London, England, and one of their opponents is the Bucs.
Oh shit!
But you never know. But it's an away game. You can't really do much about it. It's just as much of a fucker for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just for that. I'm hoping it is because it means I get to go to the game and get to watch the Bucs because I don't really get to watch much live book football. So yeah, looks good to me. And Russell Gage is okay.
I know that was good news. But yeah,
so big love to you, Russell. Keep it up, and like you said, spread him and Godwin in those slot positions. All you got to find is another slotty kind of guy. Then you can put Godwin because Godwin can play both. We know that.
Yep.
Godwin can play both. You can put Godwin outside, get another slotty guy, or get someone in the 4th round. Boom! Now we're flying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll definitely be talking about people in the draft. But yes, all the rest of those guys, I don't wish them any bad luck. I hope they get other jobs. They actually deserve it. But yes, I do want us to clean house on offense because after this season, we just need a reboot and get back to whoever we pick up, whatever we do, we got to make sure we stick to it. And if we can't do it, we need to adjust and learn. That's all. Adjusting and learning, please. Next season.
You're cleaning house because your new OC is going to want to put his people in anyway.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So you can't keep everyone and go, oh, new OC, just teach your offense to this fucking group of people.
Right. It happens. It happens. That's how it is. And again, the rest of them, hey, good luck to you, Byron. Again, McDowell's. When I get in there, I want my McDowell sandwich, damn it. And look, Samuel Jackson going to pay a visit. So yes.
Okay, brother, get yourself out of here because I'm going to go to bed too. So
yes, sir.
AJ, where can we always find you?
YouTube. It's about Buck and Time. TikTok, please get me to 1,000 so I can do live stuff. And you guys will really be entertained because I can talk more shit on there too. Flex _813. So yes, get me to 1,000. I'm out 300 short. Get me to 1,000, guys. And then on same for Instagram, Flex Luthor _813. And then Twitter, A-Turner _24. I've been trolling Shannon, so tell him that too.
AJ, get your ass out here, and I will see you next Friday because I think that's when we're going to be the next aftermath. So
yes, sir. And go Bucs.
Go Bucs, baby. Okay, guys, that's the end of the show. Thank you for joining in. It's much appreciated. Anyone who put your comments in, as always, we're appreciative. And remember, guys, like, comment, subscribe. You got to hit those buttons for us, and it does help us immensely. It allows us to keep doing these shows. I've been Steve Slick Pro, but Buccaneers out of the playoffs. I think I got over it a bit quicker than AJ did, but it is what it is. Hey, we weren't good enough. Let's move on to next year. Bucs on me, Bucs on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go Bucs!